You've been hit by a smooth criminal.
Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is JKDＸRICK and today we're going to be covering another Halo Custom Archive video for you today. Today we're going to be covering Michael Jackson. It was also known in other Halo games as MJ or Neverland Ranch or Darklord Manor or Michael Jackson's Manor or Michael Jackson's Mansion or Michael Jackson's Playhouse or Michael Jackson's House, or also known as House of Doom. The origin of this custom creation came from Halo 2. Most of you will be surprised the fact that it came from Halo 2 because most of the people remembered it iconically from Halo 3 as a forged map called Neverland Ranch from Michael Jackson, and we will be covering that in this video as well. But we're going to start all the way from the very beginning where it first popped up, which was back in Halo 2. This one, you can say it was partially a dead custom creation game, as the original way to play it in the custom game back in the day, there's no footage of it anymore exactly of how it's played, and I had to recreate it playing Halo MCC and had to do a lot of research finding different forum threads of what people said, how they played it back in the day, and kind of come up with how this game mode was actually played from all the information provided. The game mode then became even further more popular though later on when it went into Halo 3, but I'll be covering how they differ in more details as we go along the way here. In Halo 2, Michael Jackson game mode was played on pretty much any map, but mostly it was really popular on the map Lockout. We don't have any infection options back in the day that people could play right off the start, so we had to use honor rolls. And so the game, you could use King of the Hill, and Swore to Win would be set to 2 minutes, time limit would be set to 3 minutes. Everyone got 1 life in 1 round only. The hill would move every 30 seconds. Active camo was placed on the hill, so if anyone was in it, they would become camouflaged, and you only get to use an energy sword. Well, that's all you got to have anyways. Everyone except for 1 person goes on blue team, and the other player, who will be playing as Michael Jackson, will be on the pink team. Michael Jackson's objective is to kill the blue players, and the blue players must survive the round. They cannot kill Michael Jackson. The players inside the hill just have to try and constantly go from hill to hill, trying to avoid Michael Jackson. And because there's no party chat back in the day, you could hear the enemy players' voices in range proximity, so people love to play Michael Jackson music into the mic to scare people when they were knowingly getting close to it, kind of similar to Michael Myers. It was based on Michael Jackson, and it goes more on kind of either one of 2 ways people saw this. Either the side of the music video with Thriller, where he's trying to chase after that girl in the music video, and people say that's how they thought they saw Michael Jackson custom game mode was based on that. Others see it as more the dark humor controversy surrounding Michael Jackson later in his later down in his career later on. But also, it plays into the whole zombie thing, though, again, with the Thriller thing. So it could be seen either way, based on whoever's interpretation of it was. But you can also see it's like a precursor to Halo Reach's Safe Haven game mode on how it works. This game mode in Halo 2 was also called Michael Myers sometimes by mistake. The 2 names were interchangeable back in the day with the wording, so people got, mixed up with them all the time because were very similar in almost how they played, but they sometimes had different styles of playing for how people did it back in the day. For this video, we are looking at the Michael Jackson side of the game mode and how it evolved and changed. Also, the reason why we didn't see any custom game mode versions back in the Halo CE days was because we didn't have all these cool new options that you could do with the idea of making a hill where players can run into it and slowly turn camouflage. So it was kind kind of interesting to do that. And I seriously believe that this was the predecessor idea to Halo Reach's Safe Haven idea. But to kind of reiterate here, so that's how Michael Myers and Michael Jackson differentiate here. Whereas Michael Myers was, you had to be at least the last man standing and you could try and kill Michael Myers, versus Michael Jackson, your objective is to try and keep going for the hill and trying to stay in it as long as possible, but the hill constantly keep moving, so you have to run immediately to try and avoid Michael Jackson. He's constantly on your tail chasing you, which was actually a lot of fun to play, with constantly Michael Jackson chasing after you when you're the last man. Oh man, that's crazy, and it was so fun. And you had to watch out because he was just right on your tail every time, and trying to get all that time in before he kills you. It was, you know, pretty constant like rush of adrenaline trying to avoid the fact that he's just right behind you every time, and if you slow down for a split second, he can just lunge right at you and get you. I really appreciate the people that actually got together with me for the game night and actually tried this out and did the honor rolls for the most part. It was pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable, and it makes me remember the good times of why it was always fun to play back in the day, even with honor rolls that were very hard to keep people to, you know, follow them, but at the same time it was really fun. I wish they actually had a way to incorporate this without any issues of honor rolls. But anyways, let's move on to the next part here, where we go into Halo 3. In Halo 3, they ended up doing away with the honor rolls now with all the new forge options and custom game mode options that you could do now, and with the infection ability. Both would become infection, but they would have their own separate maps and their own separate playstyles, where one is they Michael Myers, you could actually kill a zombie at the end if you are the last man standing, and if you are playing Michael Jackson, you can't kill the alpha zombie and you just have to survive and not get caught by the alpha zombie. So that was kind of the cool way they kind of just finally were able to make it more concrete, but it was no longer used as a hill thing of going from one hill to the other. The game overall was to just hide from Michael Jackson as best as possible. The reason Michael Jackson's name change, where we saw it a lot in Halo 3, but later on in Halo 3 we didn't see that name pop up anymore, and it went to other names like MJ and Neverland Ranch and Darklord Manor. More often it was being known for the name of the custom creation, was because after about 2010 they implemented new censor words into Halo 3 and going on forward, that basically were put in to censor out certain words, including Michael Jackson when he passed away, which Bungie added a censor on the word Michael Jackson, so this would be the only way to get around the word filter. Otherwise, if you put Michael Jackson, your thing was just called blam. In fact, because of the word filter, I believe it's one of the two major factors of why Michael Jackson, even though it rose up to fame, it quickly became forgotten. That, and also the fact that the map that it was associated with in Halo 3 that was really popular was just really hard to recreate. The person who ever made it put a lot of effort into it because there were so many hiding spots, but in later creations they don't have as many. It's even hard for some people to try to recreate it because there just is so many detailed parts of that little building that they do in the Foundry map, the Forge, that it's really difficult to recreate this. So both due to censorship and also the complexity and detailed of the custom creation map, it was pretty much the factor of why it became so hard to see this being created in other Halo games in the future. But it was still done, it just wasn't done to the same extent as it was in Halo 3. Halo 3 came out with a lot of DLC maps that were really well done, and some of them really embraced the Forge capabilities, including Sandbox and Foundry. Foundry really understood that people really took a liking to the whole Forge ability, so they made a map that was fully, kind of designed for just the purpose of forging. And one of these forged maps was called Neverland Ranch, or Darklord Manor, and there was no hill anymore at all for this Michael Jackson mode. Instead, the players just had to just survive hiding in all these tiny little hiding spots. It was really cool just how many spots that you could hide in. There was all sorts of like hiding between the walls and hiding underneath the floorboards and hiding in the attic. Anywhere and everywhere you could just try and hide, and that was the fun part about it. Michael Jackson was completely invulnerable. You could not kill him, so the only way for the human players, the survivors, to win was to purely just survive, which again, to reiterate, Michael Myers completely changed the Halo 3 where the last player can kill the alpha zombie, and they're the only zombies. There's no other ones that when they get infected they come back. It's just one life in both game modes. But that's how they differentiated. One was you could kill the alpha, the other one was you could not. So that was the difference between the two, and because of that, that's what made them so great and memorable. I remember when I was playing that game mode and I was in between the walls, moving from one side to the other side of the building, in between those tiny little spaces, and then Michael Jackson player ends up fighting me, and he's also trying to get through the wall, and you're just constantly jumping through and trying to get through the walls while you're seeing him also trying to get through the walls as well. And it made it more suspenseful when you're trying to just get through all the obstacles, and he's just right there. It felt like something out of like a horror movie back in the original days where it truly had that suspense, and you're like, go, go, go. Just constantly just on edge the entire time. And with all those small little hiding spots and little drop downs and lift ups and everything that you could get around the entire building or the mansion, it was pretty cool that they had all this creative design into the map. And even if if you were really smart and you were really aware of your surroundings and whatnot, you could try and outsmart him and find a good place to get away from him quickly and outsmart him and get away, otherwise he would get you. That custom creation was one of probably the most popular custom creations to play back in the days of Halo 3. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to that expectation when it came to Halo Reach. In Halo Reach, the game mode actually almost completely became forgotten. There's hardly any gameplay of it. In reality, it actually slowly became back to Michael Myers, with the idea of merging Michael Myers into a big building map that you're all running around trying to avoid the infected player, but it was more of you're trying to play it more on the lines of just running away the entire time. And so it ended up becoming just a hybrid of Michael Myers and Michael Jackson. And in Halo Reach, it suddenly just took far more popularity with Michael Myers over Michael Jackson, because people had to rename their maps and everything to get around the censorship, which made Michael Jackson quickly forgotten because it was harder to find the map, because everyone had to rename it different names like MJ and Neverland Ranch and Darklord Manor. And not many people knew it by that name, and then knew it by the Michael Jackson name that people used to download from each other. So because of that, it became quickly less seen, and also because, again, it was hard to forge that map. So unfortunately, when it comes down to it, it was technically just Michael Myers. In reality, it was just really just a hybrid of the two, but it was Michael Myers game mode, but the map and everything was designed to have the little hideaway, getaway areas inside a building that you had to avoid the infected player. So it played more like the way of Michael Jackson, but the game mode was Michael Myers. But in reality, I don't really count that, because it truly didn't embrace the whole Michael Jackson thing. It was more of a Michael Myers custom creation, because you can still kill the alpha at the end, which Michael Jackson, you were not supposed to be able to. And though there was probably maps and game modes for Michael Jackson, there's just no gameplay of it to show that it still existed. So it came to the point where it's just practically forgotten, even further than it was in the Halo 2. It just became that lost. I searched high and low, but I couldn't find any gameplay on any maps with Michael Jackson when it came to Halo 4 and Halo 2 Anniversary as well. So they do exist probably, but there's just no gameplay to show. I tried searching all over the Halo 4 browser for these game modes and all the alternative names, but none of them ever popped up. I even have a Halo 2 Anniversary of the Halo 2 original way of playing with the King of the Hill style, but I just couldn't get anyone to play custom games with me at the time, so there's no footage of it. And so it's just assumed at this point it's just completely died off of popularity, and very drastically at this point just became forgotten. But finally in Halo 5, just like 2018, I went looking again, because I had looked previously in 2017, and two custom creations actually popped up that were very well done. Before, there were just like a bunch of maps they showed, but every time I brought them in Forge and looked at them, they were incomplete. No one had finished them. But this time, two of these custom creations were completed and they looked good. One of them was a really well done, almost perfectly to the point of the original, and the other one was more of an expansive, revamped version of the idea of Michael Jackson. And both of them were really cool to play, and I finally got a full lobby in, and we were actually able to play this, and we played Michael Jackson like the days of Halo 3, and people were blown away by the map, and people didn't even know about this were just like completely amazed. And when I had this game mode going and we had almost a full party, the game mode became completely exploded with a number of people trying to join in. They're like, oh my god, there's a Michael Jackson map, because they saw it, you know, in the custom game browser, so they're all trying to join in because they're like, wait, someone brought this game mode back. And so everyone was playing it. It was pretty fun to see that everyone was still able, that back in the days of Halo 3 that played Michael Jackson, saw this in the custom game browser and they're like, whoa, I want to get in. And they were like constantly in the chat just like getting all hyped about it because it was the exact same map. It was just completely just well done with the forge capabilities now, and it just worked perfectly. It was, whoever made this map really did a great job in forging, trying to recreate this. It didn't have all those cool hiding away spots like the original Halo 3 did, but Halo 3 though, whoever that made that put a lot of time in there. I think like months of work, because it was hard to forge that, and the amount of hiding spots he made was insane. But in either way though, this Halo 5 one, this person put a lot of effort to try and do the best they could to recreate it, and it was really fun to play this. I had to do some small tweaks to it because with so many people in it, and only 2 or 3 minutes to play the entire map was just not enough. You had to like crank it up to like 5 or 6 minutes, I think. But yeah, it was really fun to play this again. And also, it didn't even end there. In Halo Online, someone had also recreated it as well, and they actually really did a good job of at least creating the map for the most part. I mean, it didn't have all the hiding spots in there, but it really did, you know, embrace that whole map again, with hiding underneath the floorboards, hiding in the attic. But again, someone even on Halo Online, Halo 3 on PC, basically recreated that again, and it was, you know, not as well done as the very original. It still had some hiding spots and whatnot, but not as much. And also some of the pallets wouldn't break sometimes, and they would just have some issues, and it was really hard to get people to join in because people were all playing the same static playlist that just played over and over the same maps. So it was hard to get people to join in, but the name itself got people's attention to join in. They saw Michael Jackson. Next thing you know, I was starting to get people to join in. It took like 2 or 3 rounds, but I finally got people to come in and play, and it was pretty cool once you started getting people in, because once you get like only 1 or 2 people in, you don't really get them to stay as long because they're like, oh, there's not that many people here. But once you finally got enough people to play, then next thing you know, it started just piling up with people just joining in. Again, it's just the name itself, people remembered it. It was fun as all get out, because you could basically hide anywhere in this map, and you know, you're trying to constantly run and hide from Michael Jackson's constant cat and mouse kind of gameplay, and it was really fun like that. But when everything worked out, you know, it was just a blast to play this, just like in Halo 5 and in Halo 3. It was really cool that this game mode really seems to have the effect on players that they really enjoy it. That Halo 2, even though it was completely dead, got 2 people to play it with me, and we really had a great time playing that, even with the honor rolls. Then in Halo 3, it was also fun to play it, because it was the biggest time that game mode ever had popularity for it. And then in Halo 5, it just exploded with people just wanting to come back and go, oh my god, this is so fun to play. And then in Halo Online, even people then, when I was playing it, I think a week or 2 ago or so, it just, tons of people just came flooding in as well on there. So it's clear that this game mode is really fun to play. The idea of one person that's the alpha zombie, no other people that get infected can respawn. It's just one life, you gotta hide, and you just gotta hope that the time runs out before you get caught. And people just really love that. It actually surprised me when it came to Halo Online how that there was a Michael Jackson map, but not a Michael Myers, because usually it was Michael Myers that always made it, but yeah, this time it was the vice versa. But unfortunately, this custom creation for the identity of whom the creators were back in the days of Halo 2 is currently unknown, but in Halo 3 we do in fact know who first created this, and it was actually Darklord himself, Darklord123456. That's his actual username.
That's the kind of thing an idiot would have on his luggage.
He was the one who created the original map in Halo 3, and the map in game mode would later be updated and more popularized by a guy here. I'm not sure how to really pronounce the name, but I'll put his information down below, but I'll try and say it. JKDºRICK and Skunkman1542. Even though this custom creation rose to fame very quickly from Halo 2 being, moderately popular to in Halo 3, it became one of the most popular custom creations to play, and then unfortunately once a little bit after Halo 3 into the 2010 era, it became quickly forgotten, and in Halo Reach it became just a hybrid with Michael Myers, and then in Halo 4 and Halo 2 Anniversary kind of just became forgotten completely, and it took until Halo 5 in the later years for someone to recreate it, and it became huge. And then also the El Dorito, whoever modded it and put someone made a forged creation into that mod with that map, and then those both game modes got popular again to play. And so it seems like even though it unfortunately died out because of the censorship from the developers that caused it to die out, but also the complexity of the map were factors, but it still was a really well done map, and it was so popular that even later on when it finally got brought back, it was cool to see that it did. So unfortunately it had some negatives, but it also still had some positives when it came to this custom creation, and it still was a lot of enjoyment to play this, and it still seems to live on in popularity. So when it comes down to this custom creation, I decided I'm going to give this custom creation the Platinum Award. It really rose up in popularity in Halo 3 at the highest point it ever did, which really was one of the most popular ones to ever see people play. It was pretty well done in the effort that this person put in for this custom creation, and you can tell by the level of work when you played this back in Halo 3. So that was really cool to see, and unfortunately, it did drop down, which is why I have to, dock it points there for unfortunately dying out. I know that a lot of it is, again, the complexity of the custom creation and also the censorship, which unfortunately those two factors I feel played the hugest part of why it disappeared. But hopefully though in Halo Infinite that someone will recreate this and make it really fun to play. Unfortunately the censorship part's going to be pretty hard, and making it detailed with cool hiding spots, but either way I'm hoping to see maybe it might make a return in Halo Infinite. And also if I later on get some Halo Reach footage of the actual Michael Jackson gameplay and some Halo 4 if there's any, and if I can get any people together to play some Halo 2 Anniversary, we'll definitely upload some of those for a part 2 video of this if that ever does come about. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoy watching my videos, then make sure to turn on notifications to get updates on this channel for new Halo Custom Archive videos. Check in the video description for more information. Also, if you have any suggestions for other custom creations that I should cover, like custom games, mods, maps, and so on, then make sure to message me and even join my Halo Custom Archive Discord. I would love to hear them. Again, my name is JKDÄCHRICK, and you all have a great day. See you later.